I personally didn't like the Acolyte. I thought it was terrible. So I'm excited to see what Disney has to say about it. We're gonna watch Star Wars Theories video. Disney admits it's the Acolyte sucks.
Oh, this is beautiful.
Everything is proceeding as I have foreseen.
After they call us racists and sexists and every there is phobe in the book because we didn't like their absolute garbage show that shat all over the legacy of Star Wars and what George Lucas created, the truth finally comes to bite them in their ass.
Fulfill your destiny.
TheorySabers.com.
Disney executive reveals why The Acolyte was canceled after just one season. You're not going to believe this, and it's sweet justice for all of us who went under the berating attack from not just Amanda Stenberg and Leslie Headland and all of her cronies, but also the insane, intolerant fans who did not let any single one of us have a goddamn opinion, and me being the poster boy of that, simply because we did not like a show and because it was supposed to be Star Wars and it really wasn't. Disney executive reveals why the...
Do you guys remember how much hate this guy got? Are you guys familiar with this? How much hate Star Wars Theory got for this? I hated this show, and I only watched it to hate watch. Like, I just kept watching it to just see how bad it got. I don't know if anybody of you in the chat liked it or not. Let me know. This this was a bad Star. This was like one of the worst Star Wars I've ever seen in my life.
Acolyte was canceled after one season. Cliff notes, it wasn't where we needed it to be given the cost. Wow! A Disney exec has revealed why The Acolyte was canceled after just one season. In an interview with Vulture, co-chairman of Disney Entertainment Alan Bergman said while the House of Mouse was pleased with how The Acolyte performed in its single-season Disney debut, it wasn't enough to justify a follow-up considering the price tag. And of course, on a debut, anything is going to be great if it's Star Wars. If you put Star Wars on the title, you could peel a freaking egg, and people are going to watch the first episode until they realize this is just someone peeling an egg, and it's not actually Star Wars. We were happy with our performance, but it wasn't where we needed it to be given the cost structure of that title, quite frankly. To go and make a season 2.
You guys remember this show cost more than the Return of the Jedi? One of the Star Wars films. This had a higher Revenge of the Sith. Revenge of the Sith. This had more of a budget than Revenge of the Sith. Isn't that crazy?
So that's the reason why we didn't do that. In other words, they saw that the season 2, no matter how cheap they would make it, even if they were to make it as cheap as the Kenobi show, it still wouldn't bring in
Kenobi
the
show
numbers
sucked too.
And the views. Even if this was free,
Sucked.
the brand damage was way too much for them to want to take on another hit for a second season. They saw the discourse and they saw themselves. You know, there are a lot of people at Disney and Lucasfilm who aren't crazy shills, crazy woke shills that are there just creating their own agendas and putting their own check marks. There are people there that actually really love George Lucas Star Wars. However, they're not the ones in power, unfortunately. They're just working there. And while they may have a reputable position, they're really not the ones that are making all of the executive decisions like Bob Iger or this gentleman or Kathleen Kennedy or whoever might be there. Upon the series cancellation, Acolyte lead Amanda Stenberg posted a 8.5-minute video to her Instagram story saying she was unsurprised Disney didn't renew following the aggressive online backlash surrounding the show's female-driven story and queer undertones. Yeah, it's really all about that. The reason we didn't like it is because, you know, the female-driven story and queer undertones, just like Ahsoka, for example, which is a female-driven story. And, I mean, as for the queer undertones, I don't give a shit about that. I don't think anybody...
Yeah, there's a lot of very powerful women in Star Wars, dog. I am so tired of... You know what's wrong? When they keep using all these race baiting, sex baiting to try to avoid their own neglects of the franchise. They actually do a disservice, in my opinion, to all these people that they're trying to help out, because like nobody's hating on women if it's a good woman role. Like Leia, nobody's hated Leia. Nobody hated Padme, Princess Amidala. going on?
Nobody cares about that. Does it have a place in Star Wars? No. No sexual identity whatsoever has a place in Star Wars. If you're going to make that the centerfold of your characters, please look elsewhere, as writing a story actually requires you to be creative and talented and know how to create a story progression with characters and an overall dynamic. Especially when you're doing Star Wars, you need to really understand the whole story in general. Now, if I seem passionate about this and emotional, it is because I am. And the amount of attacks that I received doing this breakdown and live streaming and all of and going through the absolute shock of this shit actually coming out has left me with a big smile on my face, because if it wasn't for you guys supporting me the whole way, and also this now coming out showing us that, yeah, you know what, it did not get renewed officially because it was not worth the price. Now, they could have gone ahead and made this, a $50 million production, which would have been just $40 million less than the Kenobi show. Think about that. Just $40 million less than what the 90-something million dollar Kenobi show was, and this still isn't worth it to them. Think about that. It's not a huge shock for me, Stenberg said. Ever since the series was unveiled in 2020, she added, we started experiencing a rampage of, I would say, hyper-conservative bigotry. She's already creating that divide, and we're
And I don't think that's true. Because a lot of people were ecstatic to have a Sith-based show. They said that they even said there was going to be a woman lead one. People were just excited to see what was going to happen. But when they started pushing all the other stuff, that's when things started to happen. And then when the show actually came out, and like he said, they had like the clan of the sisters all on that planet together, the two lesbian clans all on one planet, saying that the men were the problem or something like that. That's where people got upset, it seems like. But like he said, Star Wars is never supposed to have sex in it. Like, even the Jedi are meant to be sexless. They're supposed to be giving up their loves, their autonomies, their connections, all for the religion of the Force. It's similar to like a Buddhist monk, right? When you're a monk, you're no longer supposed to be having any worldly possessions, worldly connections. That's what a Jedi is. So like when you have a planet full of witch sisters who identify a certain way, and then you're pushing on the Jedi, people are gonna get a little upset.
We're going to go right back into this again, because I don't feel like it needs, there is no, this is beating a dead horse. This needs to be just absolutely grounded into fine dust.
You should have made better Star Wars.
And there's a shift coming in the world and in Hollywood, and we need to understand this, and we need to move with it, because for too long, people have been trying to silence us under this low IQ guise of, oh, if you don't like it, then you're racist and sexist and homophobic and this and that. When in reality, I would say 99%, and I'm not eliminating the fact that those disgusting people live out there and they are real, sure. But 99% of the people who do not like a certain art form, like movies or music or whatever, it's plainly because they do not vibe with the material. And in Star Wars' case, if you don't feel like a project is really akin to what George created and on that same plane, then it is simply because it's a poorly written show. It has nothing to do with any of the semantics of this bullshit and that bullshit of the bigotry and vitriol and prejudice and hyper-conservative. Do you think all liberals love the Acolyte? No. This is a political marketing ploy to brainwash people who are weak-minded to think it's us versus them. No, it is one. We are one. It is Star Wars fans. Star Wars fans just want good Star Wars. Stop turning Star Wars into a goddamn political bullshit fight, okay? Us versus a...
And to make his point even more relevant, it's when Disney purchased Star Wars is when that started happening. We don't have the Clone Wars really having that much. You don't see Star Wars Rebels having that much of what's going on now. It's all modern Star Wars. Like when Star Wars first came out, then you did have people who were upset with Daisy Ridley being the main character, because they also were like, oh, we just got a main character in the the Rogue One. We got one in Han Solo. You got, whatever. But you have people like that. But majority of people were more upset with the Daisy Ridley thing because it was just bad writing, bad storytelling. The Last Jedi sucked. The whatever the last one was called sucked. Was that The Last Jedi? What was the fifth one? I don't know. I know I'm a big Star Wars fan. I know a lot about Star Wars lore. I'm a big into Star Wars, but I never seen the last one. And the fifth one, you know what? Or the what's it called? The eighth one, seventh one. The last two, I really didn't watch. I watched the second to last one. The last one, I just skipped entirely. So I know from clips. I know from what I've read, it wasn't good, and a lot of people have pointed the direction towards Daisy Ridley and like that as like a gaslighting attempt, like he says. But I think if we would have got really badass Star Wars, it doesn't matter if it was a boy or a girl. And the things I would say is the Star Wars: The Old Republic. If you look at the Star Wars: Old Republic, the video game, you look at the cutscenes, the Twi'lek, she looks badass, dude. She looks like a badass Jedi. I would have loved to see her as one. Ahsoka's a badass Jedi. You have the badass bounty hunter in there. Nobody was complaining that they're women. Nobody, because they're badass characters. It's kind of what a lot of people are saying about that intergalactic stuff or whatever it's called, the new game from the game shows. You just don't have a believable character in the as the quote unquote main. But if you put in somebody who is a badass, and people are gonna eat it up, dude.
Massive big entity corporation, whatever it might be, the rebels versus the empire. And so we, at the end of the day, just want good Star Wars. We want to feel that magic. We want to feel the Force from a galaxy far, far away. We don't need this garbage shit to be written and thrown in our face and then say, if you don't like it, then you must be racist. Piss off with that. Disney's latest series from a galaxy far, far away, Skeleton Crew, has already seen growth, according to Bergman. Think about this, guys. Here you go. Here's another bit of information I didn't even know we would get. Skeleton Crew is doing better. They're seeing growth compared to the Acolyte. Think about it. A show with 0 lightsabers, no Jedi, no Force, nothing. No Yoda, no Plagueis, nothing. Is already seeing growth compared to the shit stain that was the Acolyte. And I mean, fans are vindictive at this point. That you're getting the Solo effect, you're getting the Last Jedi effect. What happened with Solo? Solo bombed not because it was particularly horrible. It bombed because of the Last Jedi, and people were scorned. And so the same would happen with Skeleton Crew. However, from the Acolyte, people are giving it a chance. They're like, you know what? It's a kid's show. It's not really a big deal. Whatever. No harm done. At least not yet. Who is hopeful the Jude Law vehicle will fare better, having received excellent reviews since its December 2 premiere. And look at...
So I haven't seen the Skeleton Crew. I've heard good things about it, but like he said, I never watched Andor because I was pissed off too with Star Wars. I said I'm done with Star Wars. I got to go back and watch it because I guess it was a good show. And Andor season 2 is coming out, but I never watched it. You guys watch it, chat? Any of you guys watch that? I haven't watched Skeleton Crew. I haven't watched Andor. And like I said, I hate watch the Acolyte because they're just so bad. I had to watch every episode to see how they messed it up every week. But we really just need a good Star Wars, dog. Like, we don't need politics in we don't need our modern day politics in Star Wars. And some people might argue and say, well, there's politics in Star Wars already. Look at the prequels. Well, that's just like intergalactic warfare. That's war. That's not like, you know, modern day wokeism stuff. That's not modern day political agenda stuff on both sides, right and left, right? And that's just war. War is a universal thing, right? Ants go to war. Animals go to war. That's just war. That's politics involved in war. So you can't really say apples to oranges with that because they're different. They're different things.
That after the first episode, it's already doing better. It hasn't tanked like the Acolyte. The Acolyte had the first episode and tanked lower and lower and lower. Finally, to the end, the season finale. We can call it that because it was the last and final season. The first, last, and final. It was the lowest rated show.
It's not true.
The lowest viewers.
That's impossible.
Of any Star Wars Disney Plus show. Bottom of the barrel. There's a reason for that. Although Light on Specifics, Bergman went on to tease second seasons for Andor, Ahsoka, and a number of other Star Wars shows that are still under consideration. In terms of what's coming up, we have Andor Season 2, which is, I heard, $600 million, and we're going to get into that in another video, which we're really excited about. It is excellent. I've watched all the episodes, and it's a fantastic season. He's already watched all of them. It's already ready to go. And then we have Ahsoka Season 2, which Dave Filoni is leading, Bergman said. And then we're looking at a number of additional series that are in development. Oh, interesting. We'll see what we decide to do. As I said earlier, they have to be great. You're damn right they have to be great. And it's really not that hard. And if you want any advice on where to take it, you know my email, you know my contact. I'm sure you guys can find anything you like. You're Disney, you got the most power in the world. I'd be happy to lend my services and give you guys a bit of a better outlook on what George Lucas would have wanted, because it seems like a lot of you Disney guys are straying far away from that. And I don't know if you're controlling Dave Filoni and telling him what to do or whatnot, but like it seems like some of his projects are kind of straying a little too far from the path of what George might have wanted. You know, Ahsoka started out really good, and then I don't know what, something went weird there. Jon Favreau.
I think it's actually a good point he's saying, because all these people that were supposed to be giving us good Star Wars, we got the, what do we get? We got, what's that show called? The Mandalorian. We got The Mandalorian. And then after that, we got season 1. It was really good. Seemed like there was no interference there. Season 2, pretty good. And then season 3 just seemed like there's Disney interference everywhere. Ahsoka, interference everywhere. The Obi-Wan Kenobi show, interference everywhere. And I personally was so hyped for Ahsoka, so hyped for Obi-Wan Kenobi, and I actually disliked both of them quite a lot. Sabine Wren, I really thought it was stupid how she had the Force at the end. She's like, I can't even do anything. She gets stabbed, she doesn't die. She pushes, she uses the Force to push Ezra. It just seemed like a lot of stupid writing, to be honest.
Bro, Mandalorian season 1 and season 2, the most amazing shows. And then season 3, what happened? Book of Boba Fett, what happened?
Oh yeah,
the
Book of Boba
Acolyte,
Fett.
forget about it. It's not even real. Obi-Wan Kenobi show, you had Stuart Beatty. I talked to Stuart. I talked to him on air and off air. I know a lot about that trilogy. What were you guys thinking to not?
If you haven't watched that interview, guys, chat, you need to go watch that one too. With that guy he just said, I forget whatever his name was. He was supposed to write the actual Obi-Wan Kenobi movie, and it sounded so awesome, dude. But they, of course, Disney fired him. They didn't use it.
Have him work on that, and to then hire Joby Harold and Deborah Chow with the shaky cam. I mean, why? What's going on? Do you guys not like money? Because we want good Star Wars, and it seems like you guys just don't know what to do with it.
10,000, all in advance.
10,000?
I think, you need to really just evaluate better at the end of the day. I don't think it's very difficult, and I don't think you guys don't know how to do it. I think you do, but just stop making the wrong decisions. It's that simple. And as for them looking at a number of additional series that are in development, that's interesting. Some more shows, I see. I mean, we have the Dave Filoni movie, like you said, but
why can't we get Star Wars movies again? Like, why do we keep getting stupid Disney crap shows? I'm so tired of Disney crap shows. I just want good movies. Why can't we have an Old Republic movie? Like, there was Take My Money. Take My Money. I'm sure a lot of you in chat would go watch the Old Republic movie. Like, it's like written. It's already written. It's like right there. Just take the cutscenes from the video game and make a movie around it. I just don't understand.
We haven't heard anything about any of the shows. Well, Lando, like Rogue Squadron or something like that. But I think beyond that, who knows? I'm very happy that this came out and this information was, we needed an official statement, and we finally got that. And it just goes to show at the end of the day, it's not hard to create good Star Wars because they've done it before. Disney has done it before. They did Rogue One, which was fine. They did Mando 1 and 2, which was great.
That's it.
Amazing. Mando 1 and 2 was really, really fun. I really liked it. The sequel trilogy, I mean, complete and utter shit. Obi-Wan, the only good thing about Obi-Wan was the fact that Obi-Wan and Anakin were in it. That was it. And Vader. You put Vader in anything, I mean, a fan film of Vader is going to be great. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think about The Acolyte not getting renewed for a second season. Let me know what you think about all the allegations regarding people calling us racist, sexist, bigots if we didn't like The Acolyte. And I hope you guys are excited for Vader Episode 2, because soon enough I'll be able to say it's going to be coming out this year, which will be 2025. The most ambitious, expensive Vader fan film, Star Wars fan film to date that I know of, at over $1 million, is going to be coming to you guys this year. Well, at least half of it, or the second of 3 parts. And then the third will be 2026. Thanks so much for your support. TheorySabers.com, and I'll see you guys next time.
I'm actually pretty hyped for his Star Wars fan film he does, because I think it'll show Disney how to make a real Star Wars. You're a huge Boba Fett fan? I did not like Boba Fett. I thought it was terrible. I hated the Boba Fett series. I haven't liked anything that Star Wars has really been, except for the 2 Mandalorian seasons and the Rogue One. So every year I do a Star Wars, like multiple times a year. I do a watch party, right, by myself, because I got no friends. So I watch the first one through the 6th, right, and I always throw in the Rogue One, because for me that's real Star Wars. So I throw that in there, and I really enjoyed that movie a lot. I thought there were some issues with it, but overall it was like a really good Star Wars film. So let me know, chat, what you guys think about this one. If you guys are on the YouTube channel, hopefully you guys made it this far. You guys like and subscribe. Follow us on Twitch, VallordTV. We do reactions and gameplay for multiple games. Right now we're playing a lot of PoE. That's our flavor of the month. So, but yeah, I agree with a lot of what he said. I'm tired of Disney Star Wars, to be honest. I want Disney to sell it. Anybody at this point, anybody. I just want good Star Wars. Like, Star Wars has such a near and dear place in my heart, because it's like a father-son story. It's a coming of age story, and it's just special to a lot of people, and they have really destroyed it, in my opinion. But all right, guys, thank you guys so much for that one.